testing.
From dating to relationships, from sex to love, from Christianity to politics, from darkness to light, you have now entered into the real zone. Welcome to Conversations with Trent, where no topic of conversation is safe from discussion. Now, here he is, Mr. Epic himself, Trent Williams.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode with Conversation with Trent and Friends. We had a good one here tonight, real good one here tonight. Actually, Coach D left me unsupervised, and here we go. She said she wasn't going to leave me unsupervised, but we didn't communicate during the week after I did the write-up. So I'm sure I'm going to hear from Coach D. I'm sure I'm going to hear from Coach D. And we got the lovely Ursula sitting in tonight as well. Good stuff. Fan favorite. Miss Ursula Johnson, a fan favorite. Good stuff, man. Good stuff, real talk. So we're talking about, do you really know your significant other? Let's be honest here, right? It shouldn't take that long to know a person, or does it? If you're asking the correct person, if you're asking the correct questions and some great discernment, you can get on with it. So no wasting time, but are you making a decision before or after the sweat dry? That's another question. So I jotted down a few things, and I'm more sure with Coach D's topics. She said 5 questions. We'll see what she has to say about that as well. So let's bring the ladies in. One sec. Hey.
Hey there, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I have been busy.
1 second. Let's bring Ursula in here. 1 sec.
Sure.
Before we get started, I want to send out my condolences to my yoga buddy, Mr. Lenny Simmons. He lost his younger brother, Richard Simmons. You guys know him as the fitness guru, but I'm very good friends with his younger brother, with his older brother. That is, we yoga together every week. So my condolences to the family, the Simmons family, and Mr. Lenny in my prayers.
Which brother died?
Richard.
Richard.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, he died.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Mr. Lenny's a good friend of mine, yoga buddy of mine, and he's doing fine. But I know how it is to lose a brother. So, and that's his only brother.
Oh, no.
So Lenny lives in New Orleans?
That's where they're from. They're from here.
Yeah, I know that, but I thought maybe if Richard left.
No, Richard's been gone. Richard lives in Los
Right.
Angeles. He lived
Right.
in Los Angeles, but Lenny's still here. He's here.
Right. I thought maybe he would have just filed a suit and left, you know?
Nah,
Yeah.
that's okay. Nah.
Yeah.
And he's a real good gentleman, man. I've been knowing Lenny for ever since this condition, about 4 or 5 years, and we became great friends, real close. So yeah.
Oh.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So hey, man, I got a couple of calls about this this topic of Coach D's messy Sunday. This is gonna be some great gumbo talk here. I can't wait to get
I got
into
my
it.
list. I got a list.
Well, technically, D did leave me unsupervised. I conveniently didn't reach out after writing it up. So I'm more than sure I'm gonna hear it throughout the program. You know. And shout out to Kevin Lang. Shout out to Kevin Lang over in Las Vegas. Actually, I think it's Phoenix, who actually did the new face. I wanted the new face for the conversation and add you ladies to it. And I wanted to surprise you guys and see what you guys thought about it. But shout out to Kevin Lang, designer Kevin Lang. He's a designer who actually hooked me up. Tammy actually connected me with the guy. He does great artwork, and I wanted avatars for the conversation because it's not just about me. It's about people that actually is on this journey with me as well. So I just wanted to highlight you guys. I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
You guys are silent. I mean, what's going on?
Oh, we're ready to hop in, I guess. And I was just making sure I pulled up the comments.
I got you. No, it's all good. It's all good. Hey, you got some lighting over there, or you gonna stay in the dark?
Is it you need a little light?
Nah, so the people can see you. That's all.
Oh, okay. All right. Maybe if I okay, yeah. Let me see.
So I see you got the website for the Wiz Kid up and running. What's going on with that?
Oh, for me, I'm sorry. Somebody sent me a message reference. Um, Let me get you where my head is why I haven't contacted you. So Wednesday night, a former soldier of mine called
Uh-huh.
and said goodbye, and
Wow.
then shot themselves while I was on the
Wow.
phone. So I was just relaying some information to somebody, reference helping them write an obituary and all that stuff. So my
Gotcha. Good.
apologies for not being present.
All
Yeah,
good.
so Xavier's website is up. There's only 3 designs on there right now, but he's ready to start making some money.
Good
So
So
stuff. Good
you have
stuff.
she has a website for her kid.
yeah,
Yeah,
thestrawkid.com.
Awesome.
that's good stuff.
Awesome.
So let's dive into this topic here of Coach D. It's about the do you really know your significant other? And we're gonna mix it in with the 5 questions you should ask. I got a plethora of questions that I come up with, but I'm gonna see what Coach D's on Coach D's list for the 5 questions. But let's just be honest and fair, right? Even at 50, we still have to ask the right questions when dating out here. We still have to. We'll have to, harness great discernment and all that good stuff. And for me, the core values and all that stuff, or your moral compass, what are you looking for? What are you looking for? And that's some of the questions I would ask. How's your health? How's your mental health? Do you accept change? Can you adapt and adjust during hard times? That's some of my questions, but we'll go around the table and we'll talk about it. But what do you guys think?
I like
Um,
what you just said. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
those are
Okay.
good questions.
Yeah.
I have some other questions for you, though. Question one: is your spouse a reflection of you?
Mm,
And if so, how? Um, and then to figure out if you're in a healthy relationship,
right.
can I be myself when I'm with this person?
Exactly.
Do I feel safe with my partner, emotionally, physically, financially? Can
Okay.
I tell them how I really feel without judgment?
Mm-hmm.
Do we listen to each other's concerns? Do I hold as much power in the relationship as my partner?
Right.
That's an important. Um, and then some question to ask them: what gives them a sense of belonging? What what are you really good at, and what do you wish you were better at?
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And
Let's get to
we'll
let's get to the comment real quick, and then we'll dive all the way in. One sec.
all right. So Slash is here again. Rising Melanated people, greeting coaches, Princess Coach
What up,
D, and
Slash?
Mr. Epic. And
What
Mr.
up,
Alvin is
Slash?
here saying good evening, panel.
I see you out, Sal, watching us on the big screen. I see you. Good stuff, man. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah. So I've had a couple of conversations throughout the week about this topic. And the one thing that stuck out to me when I was speaking to people, everybody wanted to know what's your core priorities. Nothing was
Mm.
attached to monetary things. It was always all attached to mental health, physical health. Do you how would you handle change? And in
Mm.
today's climate, things are constantly happening. Even at this age, again, like I said, at 50, we still need to ask very, important questions when we're talking about dating. Because actually, to be honest with you, 50 is not old at all.
No.
Not old at all. So, what's your core priorities? That's most important for me. Where's your moral compass? You know what I'm saying? Where's your reciprocation level? You follow me? Where's your reciprocation level? So are you asking for what you're requiring? That's a lot of my
Mm.
questions. That's a lot of my personal questions.
Hmm.
Ursula?
Well, I want to say first, just watching the previous podcast that you guys have done. I've
No,
always
we
admired.
did. We did. We don't exclude anyone. So no, you did that as
We
well.
okay. I've always admired some of what a lot of what Coach D have said
Mhm.
in the past. I've just listened and I say, very good, very good. Um, for me, I just wonder for my questions that I would ask is definitely money would not be a priority. Mine was more or less like moral compass,
Mhm.
they think how they feel about not Christianity but God. Like, how do they process their priorities and if they're goal oriented. And when I
It's
say
funny
goal
that
oriented,
it's funny that you would say that. That was one of the questions from a viewer that I spoke with. She
yeah,
said, she said, even though a lot of people don't believe in God, it's very important to know where you stand with God. As far as
yeah.
what are your thoughts
How do
on
you
that?
process
That's a good one. Yeah,
how you process Christianity or whatever? However, do you worship? Do you serve? What do you believe? Like
right,
those are that would be what's important to me. Well, it's one of my big deals, like not
right.
big deals, but it's one of my things that's on my list.
Okay, all right,
Top five things.
right.
Do they trust their God?
Right.
Yeah.
They
Another
can
one,
believe
another
in it.
one,
Yeah.
another one. There's a lot of questions that I ask. Hey, do you like pets?
Mm.
What's your political views? Do you like pets? What's your political views? Because I have an opinion on the whole landscape, of political parties and whatnot. I have a complete different opinion on that. You'd be surprised. So that's very important to me. That's very important to me. Where do you stand as far as education and, you know, where do you stand as far as assisting others in need?
Yeah.
Where's your selfish compass? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
those are questions. Those are very important questions for a 50-year-old, 50 plus year old. For
Mm.
me.
I have a good one.
I agree.
I have a good one.
Hmm.
I like to talk from a place of being from a traditional household with a mom and a dad,
Right.
completely heterosexual, just being honest. Um,
Uh,
and I wonder, if I would like my partner to understand that I'm used to um a man being in the house and a man standing on business and a man being a
right.
man. You know what I mean? That is
Exactly.
like
Define define a man being a man.
I even thought of that. I said I knew you would ask you. I knew you was gonna say that. So that's why I mentioned like growing up in a traditional household. So I grew
Right.
up in the 70s and 80s. So a man being a man would be more like him taking lead and taking charge of the household, but also allowing a woman to want to mother and woman. You know what I'm saying? But also her
Right.
understanding that the man is the primary leader of the household in a sense. And let me just say that's why I said, well, your God is important to me because
Yeah.
God will lead you and you will lead your family.
Exactly.
See,
And I
and
got
this is
go
go
ahead. I'm
ahead.
sorry.
I was gonna say this is why
Jack,
religion is
go
just
ahead.
important.
I'll go in the back. Let's catch these comments real quick.
Yeah. All right. So Slash says, "What up, brother Al Sal? Hope you much as well. Did the panel ask these questions prior to walking down the aisle? Some of you walking twice." And Tammy says, "Hey, great people. I thought it was 7:30. I'm late." Actually, Slash, I did ask numerous
Damn.
questions, and they cheated. Both did. And because I don't give second chances, I that's all there is to it.
Here we go. Here
So
we go. What was Slash question so
we'll
I could
move
actually
on from
ask?
that.
The shade was real. The shade was real to me. He said
Yeah. Oh, he
most of us
tried
did
it,
it
but
twice. I did. So what was the question again?
oh, he wanted to know, did we ask any questions prior to walking the aisle because some of you have walked in twice.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't ask any questions like I said on previous podcasts, and I said in chapter the Delta book, shameless plug. That it looked good for me on paper, so I didn't know what a moral compass was because I didn't care. I was going after the money. So, it looked good on paper if we looked great as a team, but I didn't. I cared less about what was going on with the moral compass and health and that. I mean, she was fine as hell. Let's keep it a buck, but I didn't care about all that stuff at that time. So it
Yeah,
took some
I asked
years for me to
questions
grow
too.
into who I am today. So yeah, that's good
And
stuff.
I asked
So
lots
yeah,
of
I
questions,
jotted down some
but
more.
we're good. Move on.
I jotted down some more. The key to it is, again, how do you handle change? Why did your last relationship vanish? Why did your last relationship end? What happened? For me,
Nobody is ever honest about that.
exactly. For me, I asked that and the most opportune time for me so I could get a reaction, so I could start reading.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like why? So if the person continuously doing this, they really should be doing this. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been down that road before when people like, well, what happened with you and that beautiful woman out of Michigan? What happened? When it first
Don't start mess. Don't start mess.
when it first happened, I was doing this.
Right.
It took me 8 years to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Take that mirror and turn it inward, right?
Yeah.
So I wasn't honest with myself nor the people who was asking those questions. It became
Right.
roadkill for me.
So that addresses the first question that the guy Slash said about did you ask these questions when you first walked down the aisle? No, because
Exactly.
everybody was still growing. You know what I'm
Still
saying?
growing.
We still grow. I'm still learning at over 50. So I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna be where I am honestly at 55 if the
Right.
universe or God, however we process it, spares life, I'm not gonna be where I am at 52 at 55. So
Absolutely. It's called
we're all
continual
growing,
growth.
you know.
It's called
Yeah,
continual growth. And once we
right.
realize that, everything is good, man. It's called
Yeah,
continual growth. Because I know a
yeah,
lot of people out there who know Trent. You notice I said who know Trent.
right.
Well, Trent's SOB. Trent's, he's a womanizer. Yeah, they know the old me, but I got to reintroduce myself again. You know what I'm saying? They really don't know me.
Hmm.
They know the older version of me, but they don't know me. But
See, I never met the womanizer. I only heard about him.
exactly, because
I
you
met the
you
guy
know
who didn't
you
open
know
the
why
door
you
the
never
first
met him.
time.
You know why you didn't meet him?
Why?
Because you didn't take my shit.
Oh, that
That's
is
right.
true.
That is absolutely right.
And this
That
and
is
this is why
absolutely
she and
right.
I, this is why she and I are still friends to this day, over 20 years of friendship. Because she was brutally honest with me. She helped me through a difficult time in my life, and I was accepted to that. So she's a dear friend of mine, real different.
Oh,
Even though I get on the nerves.
Tammy's got some. Okay, let me go back to the comments. Slash
Yeah.
Tammy
has some
Tam,
questions. What's your definition of a good relationship? Your fave way to practice self care? Your fave quality about yourself? What's a skill you wish you had? Uh, your fave hobby? Your fave food per Cosmo? Those are good
yeah,
questions.
I
He said
get it.
hello to Miss Ursula. Little
Hey,
She.
Mark.
Your nickname is now Little She Bear.
I don't understand, but it's okay. Hey.
Tammy said, it ended so we could grow. We were two imperfect people who never found the internal strength and growth needed to be in an emotionally healthy relationship. I'm thankful. See, that is
Exactly.
a whole
That's
lesson
Tammy.
right there. We can end the
Exactly.
show.
That's Tammy. That's my real. That's another one of my real good friends over
Yeah.
in Memphis. I've spoken at a ton of her events over in Memphis, at the University of Memphis, all over Memphis, and she has a podcast, 7 o'clock every single morning in this season. When I tell you, it's her and her son, his mother son duel, phenomenal. You're gonna
Oh,
learn something. You're gonna be moved by something on that show. In the season podcast, 7 Central,
okay.
8 Eastern, every morning.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Iris, go ahead.
Oh, I'm waiting for the next thing.
Oh,
Okay, guys.
I had some more questions.
Yeah.
These are ones, and I think these are not so much for younger people, but even people who are combining families are very important.
Right.
So, most important one, if you're combining parents, what is your parenting philosophy?
Mm.
Right?
That's a
Oh,
good one.
Because there's a difference between raising children in love and raising children in survival. So
Absolutely.
Xavier,
wow.
he doesn't get yelled at, he doesn't get spanked. There are consequences to his actions, and I would never be with somebody who yells and spanks. That's
Right.
a
Now I
any
know what
day
you're talking
day.
about, but
Yeah.
tell the folks in the back, what does that look like?
So conscious parenting is about compassion, empathy, and communication.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you talk to anybody, like any of Xavier's friends, where he has gone for a play date,
Right.
there has never been anything but glowing responses. Same thing from the schools and teachers and everything like that. Here's
Hmm.
the thing: Xavier has anxiety. Even when he was battling anxiety when he was young and still didn't understand it, he had one temper tantrum, right? And he
Right.
had the temper tantrum because I had him out past his nap time, so he was tired. And people don't realize that unless there's a medical situation, 95% of a children's behavior is a reaction to our behavior. So when
Right.
I pour, and here's the thing: when you pour love into a kid, they pour love into their friends
Yeah.
because they don't know
Absolutely.
what survival looks like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
right? So when he's
You know,
talking to his friends, he had, for example, he has his report card on his desk. Don't know
right.
why. That's his thing. He had his little friend
Oh,
over on the weekend, and his
go
friend
ahead.
asked him, "Oh, why do you have your report card out there?" He's like, "Oh, it's just there." He's like, "Well, you have all A's. Did your mom get mad if you don't get A's?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Why not?" He goes, "Well, my mom says that learning is an experience, and if I fail, it just means I'm learning." And this little kid's like,
Absolutely.
"Your house is so quiet compared to mine," and I'm like, I can't listen to this anymore because my little heart's breaking because this little boy doesn't understand what it is to be raised in love.
Right. And
So
Yeah.
here's the
That's
thing: a lot of
good.
people, I'm always getting flack every time I do these relationships podcasts, right? And I'm getting flack from a lot of people that, oh, we don't need to be knowing about, what's going on. Yes, you do, because I was raised in love, but I actually emulated my father. I resembled what I saw. All I did was mirror what I saw him do.
right,
My dad was a great man. He's a great provider, but I followed his footsteps in womanizing. I love women. That's what I saw.
yeah,
So it's very important, even at this age, to talk about these things and talk about what's important to you going into a relationship at 50 or above. Because
mhm,
a lot of us, we had great parents, but we watched their downfalls. We watched the negative things and gravitated toward the negative things.
right,
I find that very ironic that I didn't gravitate to he's a phenomenal provider. I looked at the womanizing piece. I looked at the plethora of women. You know what I'm saying? He was very successful in business, but I looked at the negative piece and
right,
followed that. My brother told me today, he was like, wow, you act just like daddy. He talking about, what I think, what mindset,
Wow.
business and everything. But I picked up the business later on in life. But the
mhm,
womanizing, I picked that up as a teenager and I ran him. I ran him just like he did.
right.
So, to my friends who's always emailing and talking that smack to me about relationships, I think it's very important, it's very imperative that we get a clear understanding what it looks like as far as going into a relationship, leaving a relationship. We need to know the proper steps going in and coming out.
Listen, the more
Just
you don't want to talk about
oh,
relationships is probably the more you should be talking about relationships,
boom,
right? Because
exactly,
people avoid what hits. Hit dogs holler. If we're talking about relationships and all of a sudden they start complaining, we might have hit something. Maybe we
exactly.
should think about what is triggering you in that moment that puts you on the defensive.
That's real talk. That's a good question too.
Because I know right now there's a whole pile of people going, "Oh, she don't be here, kid. He don't know how to behave," and they're gonna get all of their feelings. I'm like, because our
Exactly.
community is
I,
notorious for not raising our children in love.
you don't have to be. You don't have to beat your kid. Let me tell you something. That's a myth about spank. You don't have to spank. That's, to me, that's very much connected to how,
Slavery.
yes, yep, how we was brought over to America in slavery. I think communication is key, and it starts when they're very little, you know. And kids, you communicate with them, but they also see how you relate to them. So I totally 100% stand behind how you're raising Xavier. I think that's awesome. Y'all want me to read the comments and then we can
Yeah,
answer?
go ahead.
Sure,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Mark said, did the panel ask the questions? Oh, no. Okay, he was talking about the panel.
Ghostberry, thanks the panel for answering honestly.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Thanks the panel for answering honestly. He said something about Ursula is a unique and uncommon name with a Latin origin, meaning she bear or bear-like. It's a name that evokes the sense of strength, resilience, and connection to nature. Tammy, a healthy relationship, in my opinion, is two people who can freely be, but both are given the opportunity to also consistently become and grow. It's a relationship built on commitment, trust, unconditional love, and vulnerability. I love that comment.
exactly.
I wanted to talk about what you said about how you were raised with your dad, and you latched on to the thing that I think most men do, and that's the part about being a you know a womanizer in a sense, you know, because I think in some sense as a boy sees that as his dad being a man. Now I'm sure that your dad showed you other things that a man do, as far as you know, take care of his family, you know, but those are things that you don't quite understand as a kid, you know what I'm saying? But the conversations that get had aren't always the conversations, and that's not highlighted or it's not popularized. I would say how hard your daddy worked, you know what I'm saying? Or that he may have even had a heart attack at work. That don't get brought up. What get brought up is
I give you the balance in Big Will. That was my dad. That's what they called him, Big Will. Like I would sit at his desk in his office, and he'd show me how to do his books.
Right.
He'd show me the numbers that are coming in. He would do.
Right.
I mean, he was a phenomenal father.
Right.
This is why I'm in business today for myself.
Right. You don't have to work for anybody. Right. Right.
Yeah, no,
And
because he showed me a different way. But
Right.
as a kid, I gravitated to that piece.
What people said, what you
Exactly.
heard.
No, what I saw, I was like, wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Women just love him. I mean, he was a tall, 6'3", 6'4", handsome Devin, that type guy. He had a serious mouthpiece. I love him to this day still. But go ahead.
So I'm gonna talk about me, for example. My dad was hardworking. He was a hustler, but not a street hustler. He worked 2-3 jobs. So I got that characteristic, honestly. But my mom, she didn't work, but she was like, whatever my dad said went. And I don't want to say she was a doormat, but she just kind of allowed my daddy to have his way. He wasn't a womanizer though. He was very angry from working so hard. And my mama she had to deal with that, right? And so I, you know, and I'm not trying to play the victim here, but I, you know, sometimes can act as I'll let people have their way. And, you know, I have to say, okay, look, I won't say anything, you know, so I'll just, you know, figure it out and maybe like start to crawfish or crab my way back. But I don't like when, you know, the old way, a lot of the old ways that we grew up, some of it is really great characteristics, but some of it is very toxic. And it
excuse me, my apologies for tapping in. I'm getting a technical response here from the technical partner over here. If you guys are on Instagram, let me know or send me a message if you guys are streaming. It's streaming on my side. I could actually see you guys, but I'm getting messages saying that some of you guys your stream is not loading. So just let me know. I appreciate it. Go ahead, Eris. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. So I think some of what we saw and what we've learned is some toxic characteristics too. And we brought those into, you know what I'm saying, relationships, because the spanking thing is a toxic thing, but our parents didn't know. So
they didn't know. You know what I mean? They can't tell you what they don't know.
Right.
And what they didn't taught. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they don't
Yeah,
know.
but I'm strongly a advocate for when you know better, you do better. I
Absolutely.
advocate for that.
Absolutely.
Because I think communication is key on every level. It's with children, adults, with everybody. It's a simple conversation. So, yeah.
Let's catch my favorite Chicago girl, favorite supporter over the years, Michelle Kendall. Let's get her comment. Michelle Kendall from Chicago, Illinois. I see you, lady.
It is not just the example of father by the father; those are set by the other men in the vicinity. That's right. And
True.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's true.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Do you want to add something?
You know what? Here's the thing: we take so much from our parents growing up
Yeah.
and our other family members. But a lot
Right.
of us don't realize until we're much older how toxic that is and how that affects us long term.
Right.
And then when we get into therapy, because therapy is not a four-letter word, people. God knows it is in our community.
Hmm.
But you know what? Everybody should talk to a therapist and
Yeah.
find the
Exactly.
right one for them. And
Yeah.
then once you realize what is affecting you, then you can make changes. Because that's where the most growth comes when you're the most uncomfortable, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Whether that's in a job or a relationship, just life. Like if you read a book and it puts you in the corner and curls up and you're crying in the fetal position, it's hit home, right?
Exactly.
And the journey of personal development and self development is not a pretty one.
It's a bumpy
No.
road. It's definitely a bumpy
No.
road.
Yeah,
No.
It's a
there
bumpy.
are ups and there are downs, and those downs are hard because when you start doing all that shadow work and really start looking at yourself deeply, then you have to come to terms that, hey, you may not always be a nice person, and you've done some
I
messed up
coined.
things in your life.
I wrote and coined this phrase at one of Tammy's events, right?
Hmm.
Years ago, talking about turn your mirror inward. I wrote
Yeah,
that years ago, and in a speech, and implemented in one of my speeches. But
Hmm.
that's the toughest thing a person could ever do is turn that mirror inward and realizing that you can't use the hand mirror. You need the full length mirror because the majority
Hmm.
of us are a complete mess. I know I was. I
yeah.
know I was. I couldn't use the hand mirror. I needed that complete mirror, the full length mirror. I was a handful. Sometimes still is. Let's Tammy has another comment. We'll get to Al Sal.
Yeah. Tammy comment is people want to talk about relationships only to the degree that it serves them in their actions. People want the wedding day, but have no idea what being married is about. Truth be told, if we talk more about and if men and women could participate in therapy and healing relationships and marriages would be more successful. Women and men don't put up with foolishness. Have the boundaries and keep to them. I tell my guy, if we break up and you devote change, I'm sorry, but you will need to show.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true. That's
Alvin
true.
said,
Tammy,
yeah. Alvin said, about that comment, what you're talking about, what you
let me
learned. He
see.
said, that's why daddy named you the lawyer of the family.
That's funny. Let me tell a quick story on that. That's actually true. My dad used to always introduce me as the lawyer of the family to all of his business partners, all his friends, and whatnot. But here's where that story come from with the lawyer thing, right? I was at the
Mhm.
age of 4, maybe 5, and I'd negotiate for me and my brothers to get more snacks from Nan, right? So she do ginger snaps, and I was the only one that she would be listening to get seconds. So they'll tell me, they sing this song to me. This is the reason why they still to this day call me Big Man, Big Man, Big Man. Do what you got to do. Tell Nan to get us some more cookies. So I go and negotiate for some more cookies, right? So, and then what came down for my father, all the time, most of the time, it was actually Torrance getting an ass whooping. He called me into the room. He said, "Hey, listen, I won't whoop him. You have to tell me exactly why I shouldn't give him a whooping." So he had me sitting up like a lawyer defending them. Oh, this is why I think you should give. And 9 times out of 10, I won. So that, and I get all the snacks for myself. To be honest with you, after win them over. But that's why he called me. That's a fond memory, Alvin. Thank you, man. Very fond memory.
Mark said asking questions is all good and well. How to answer by communicating is most important. I have something to say about that. Tammy said, if you decide to change, that was a typo when she said if you decide to change. And Mark said to Miss Tammy, good evening. You should have been a jeweler because you drop a lot of jewels. So to answer, go back to Mark's statement, asking questions is good and well, but how they answer by communicating is most important. As we get, this conversation, we keep coming back to growth. You can tell me something all day, but I'm always going to go by your actions. So, but at the same time, you should, hold me to the same ruler. If I'm, proclaiming growth and wanting to change and do things differently, pull out the measuring stick and see if I'm changing. And I think everybody deserves the right if they decide to walk away or say it's, a growth, you're not growing. I'm sorry. I feel like,
Hey, and here's the thing, though, right? I find that even in today's climate, with the people I've actually been encountering over the last several years now, when I've done the work on myself, and I'm very proud of the work that I've done.
Yes.
Very proud of it.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask the tough questions. I'm going to ask the transparent questions. I'm going to place all my stuff on the table, and I expect you to do the same. But here's the thing: what I find when I do that, some people get offended by that, which is okay, because I'm learning that everybody's not going to meet you at the same place you are right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when I'm asking those questions, I'm not judging. I'm not doing any of that. Right. It's just that I'm a little further ahead up on the road, and I'm just asking these questions. And I don't see nothing wrong with asking transparent questions.
Nope.
If I place everything on the table, that's what I want. You notice what I said, guys, in the opening of the show. How's that reciprocating needle going?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How's that compass? How's that reciprocating compass? Which way is it going? Which way is it swinging? So I'm not just demanding that. I'm requesting that. And I expect it to be reciprocated. If I'm being completely transparent with you, it's imperative and it's a must. That's one of my requirements. You have to be. If not, you move away from you quick.
Well, I think just in general too, and I hate to bring up the economy, but just in general, I think when people aren't seeing eye to eye, I think it's easier, even for the person who's not moving like they should move towards the benefit of the relationship or the benefit, I think they even get frustrated with the pressure. And so it's easier for them to walk away and go or be in a situation that's where they have to be less accountable. People really do that. That happens.
Tell the folks, what does that look like and what is it called when
people are feeling to be accountable?
One person is asking very transparent questions. What does that look like for a person running from that transparency?
It's called an avoidant relationship attachment. So remember here, there's different relationship types. So if somebody is constantly running, that is because they have an avoidant relationship type. So when we think about relationships, we have to think about how they have their relationship with their parents. So based on their relationship with their parents growing up, we'll set their relationships for further on. So whether they have a secure attachment, they have an insecure attachment, they have an avoidant attachment. So I always tell people, if you want to know what kind of relationship they are, talk about their relationship with their parents.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And here's the thing, people talk about mama's boys. Now, there's a very fine line with mama's boys and codependent mama boys.
Right.
So Xavier's a mama boy. He's the apple of my eye, love him to death. But I look forward to the day when he finds a spouse, because then I get another child. Right?
Exactly.
I like
but that's different from the codependent, because the codependent dreads the day that they find a spouse, because then they're losing their child.
As I share a story, I'll be a little transparent here, right? So when I decided to marry Chapter the Delta, we talked to her mother, and I talked to my father, my mother, and something her mother said to her.
Yeah.
I wasn't around when she told her mother she was marrying me, Her mother told her, marry him. So she was like, well, why? She said, because of the way he treats his mother.
His mama.
Mhm.
And she
That's
said,
right.
that boy adores his mother, marry him. So I was like, wow, she said that? She said, yeah. And still to this day, I have a wonderful relationship with Mac's mother-in-law. She still to this day tell me, you're going to always be my son-in-law.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, we still have a great relationship. Yeah.
And I love that for you.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, we have entirely too many who get codependent on their sons, and that's the
Right.
whole mother wound. We had that conversation before, and it makes up for bad mother-in-law situations
Right.
because
And here's the thing for me,
they get
right?
too involved.
Here's the thing for me, right? And this is a part of transparency being placed on the table. When Teresa and I decided to get married, we sat down in my house at the table after doing a 4 horseman cookout. We used to do the 3-day, I'm sorry, the long 3-day weekend on Labor Day for or was it Memorial Day? I think it is. We used to do that. And we, cook for the entire community and invite everybody, or they just come, drink, and be merry and whatnot. So Teresa flew in for that weekend. So Lighten did the gumbo with fried fish, all this stuff. It's a whole bunch of food. So I'm sitting at the table and I say, hey man, would you like to marry me? And I set this whole thing up 6 o'clock in the morning. And she said, I am gonna say yes, but can you go next door and ask Torrance to fix me another bowl of gumbo? So I say, sure. But the whole point is, when I was asking her to marry me, I said, this is my requirements and this is what I'm not gonna give in on. My mother comes with the marriage.
Mhm.
And anybody who know me know exactly why I said what I said. Dee, Ursula, y'all know why I said that. Because my mother
She's a
was
sweetheart.
actually, she's a
Yeah.
sweetheart and she was disabled. And I took care
Yeah.
of my mother for 25 years. And that wasn't off the table. But I was
Right.
transparent about it. And the wonderful thing about Teresa, she cared for my mother all the way through. All the way through. Even when we divorced, she still looked out for my mother because she knew the love I had for my mother. She knew
Right.
the love I had. And Teresa and I are great friends to this day because of that. But that's the piece about transparency when I talk about placing everything on the table. That was a deal breaker for me. If she would have said,
Yeah.
"Nah, we can't do that," well, nah, we can't get married. This
Yeah,
is
because
it.
and here's the thing. Even though like we may have great relationships with like our you have with your mother and like Xavier does with me, the
Exactly.
other person may not have that same thing.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
you have to find out what their relationship is like.
Mm.
Slash
You know,
said 90% of our
it's funny.
communication is. Oh,
I don't want to say it before we get to Slash. Before I don't want to forget when Nan met Dee, right? She used to always tell me. She used to always call Dee Princess because of the accent, from the Canadian accent.
Uh-huh.
And she'd tell me she was a slow talker. And she was like, Trini, you better treat Dee right. Because she's a princess. I said, oh, Lord. They had a wonderful relationship as well. So, yeah, good
yeah,
stuff, man.
she was
Right.
a sweetheart,
Yeah.
but she knew I wasn't taking any of your BS either.
Yeah, I was about to say she probably one of the main people who really ever held you accountable,
Exactly. Exactly. The
Right.
Slash
So let me
says,
get Slash said 90% of communication is nonverbal. Talk is cheap. Let's keep it 100. We meet their representative first, later on the real person. So here's the thing: if you ask the right questions, the representative can't answer them. The real person has to.
Right.
and this is the only topic when Slash says that I totally disagree with him on.
Mm.
When he says 90% of communication is nonverbal, I still to this day will agree to disagree on that. Because I believe that I don't want to read your mind. You got to tell me exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
I need to know. I don't want to sit and think, well, I wonder what she's thinking. Nah, you tell me exactly what's up so I know how to process this and move forward. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna be a guessing game because to me personally, that leaves room for someone to lie to you.
Right.
So when you go to questioning them, once you question, oh well, this is what I meant. Well, no, you didn't mean that
Mm.
because you didn't say anything. So That's just my opinion. Slash, I never agree to disagree on anything, but that, and he knows that we always disagree on the 90% communication thing all the time.
Well, here's a question I always ask, and it throws people for a loop every single time.
Mm.
What is a piece of wisdom you've learned by observing the person you like least?
Mm.
Mm.
Because your representative can't answer that question. Because you got to think about that. When the
Right.
representative is very shallow.
Ooh. Tammy got a long one. I know it's a good one. First one, catch that?
Yeah. It is possible to develop a deep understanding and connection with them over time through open communication, shared experience, and our experiences and observation. But knowing someone requires a level of faith and trust in them. People lie and play games for sure. So hear them, but also see them. You can tell me anything, but your action shows me everything. People just have to be honest about what they see, good and bad. Trusting others involves an element of risk because you are placing faith in someone else.
Absolutely. And to piggyback, hey, great comment from the butterfly over there on in this podcast season. Good stuff, man. Here's the thing about that, right? Even at this age, we still, you know what I'm saying, especially if we making that decision after the sweat drive, I'm making that decision based on the moistness I just got. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna overlook everything if I made that decision after the sweat dry. I'm thinking about that moistness, which is going, you know what I'm saying, which I'm walking through rose-colored glasses on, and I'm not
Right.
seeing everything I'm supposed to see. You know, even at this age, I've made decisions after the sweat dry, and it wasn't good for me. It was horrible decisions that I made, thinking about that moistness. Well, we all do it. We all do it. We've all done it. You know what I'm saying? We've all done it. But just like Ursula said, continual growth.
Yeah.
When you can actually acknowledge that, that's growth. That's another step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Real good stuff.
I think you have to be also fair in growth and honestly have empathy towards people and try to really understand and advocate for your relationship with people. I really do believe that. I think it's so easy to, like I said, to walk away and not put work in. You know what I'm saying? I know sometimes people
Exactly.
probably wonder about what happens with me. My mom have the best story. She like, girl, I don't know what be going on with you. She say, like, sometimes you'll be like, this is the person, you only know him for 2 weeks, and then we ask you a month later what happened to the person, and you come back and say this ain't the
Yo,
person anymore. But it's like the true person be that showed up. You know what I'm saying? It's I'm like I
exactly.
can't put any more time into that because time, money, you can always make some more money, but time
That's how you
once
can
it's
get
gone, it's gone. You know what I'm
it.
saying? So I am real intentional about what I do with my time and with whom I give my time to. Because I don't feel good about wasting it.
I could agree with that. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm in this space now, right? I do daily quotes every day, whether I'm
Right,
doing cardio or I'm at the gym, wherever it is,
right.
sometimes hearing a podcast and whatnot. And I talked about peace and protecting your peace. At this
Yes.
stage in my life, I have so much peace. I don't
Yeah.
care who it is. It could be a
Yes.
family member. It could be one of
Yeah.
my kids.
Yes.
I'm gonna give them
Yes.
some distance for a minute until they get their mind right.
Yeah.
And everybody who listen to this podcast know I adore Taylor and Kennedy. But when they go to acting a little crazy and bringing all that chaotic stuff to me,
Yes.
disrupting my
It's a
peace, I
no.
give them some
Yep.
space.
It's
And
a
it's
no.
okay to give people space.
Yep.
But we have to make critical decisions in today's climate, especially in today's climate, man.
Right.
I don't care who it is, family member, romantic relationship, business relationship. We gotta make sure that we making the critical decisions, the right decisions, and moving forward in those friendships, romantic relationships, or with siblings or with family members,
Right.
because you still can love people from afar. I do that
Yeah.
quite well.
Oh yeah.
I do that quite
Yeah.
well. I love a person
Yeah.
from afar. Now, we don't have no problem, but you're going to stay over there. Yeah, we don't have no problems, but over there is where you're going to stay. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
a lot of Whoa, I see a good one. That's my favorite cousin like a brother.
What's the real love?
Where's the real love?
Yeah, or
Where's
where's
the real? Yeah.
the I can't
Well,
see.
what up, Mark? That's
Mark
my
said
cousin.
Mark got a couple
Mark,
of comments. Mark said, according to the University of Texas, what's this Permian basis? 90% of communication is nonverbal. The idea originated from the work of Albert, a researcher of the body. You know what? Who found that 55% of communication is nonverbal, and 38 is vocal, and 7% is words only.
He's gonna research on, but he knows I'm gonna stand 10 toes down on that nonverbal. I'll reiterate that I don't want to have a guessing game going on with the person I love. My heart is at risk. My love is at risk. I need to see the words and hear the words coming out of your mouth.
Hey, ain't nobody got no time for that to be trying to figure people out. I'm gonna take you for your word. Like I'm gonna see what you say. I'm gonna mess with you on that. But if you show me anything different, I'm gonna give you that. Like you showing me something different. And look, I'm not mad because here's the thing: what I'm not, but ever trying to ever do. I'm not never trying to change nobody after 50. You good?
Boom.
We good. You good. We good. I want you to be that person. If you want a boathouse and be swimming in the water with the fish and the dolphins and whatever, I want that for you. Whatever you want for you is what I want for you. You know what I'm saying? So, like, ain't nobody trying to change nobody. So that back and forth on what researchers say, that's cool and everything. But honestly, like Miss Tammy said, I'm gonna give you a chance to, do some good work. Give you a chance to say, and I want you to give me a chance too. But at the end of the day, if it don't work out, it don't work out. It's okay.
My favorite saying these days is not "I'm good." Like if I disagree with somebody and I'm romantically involved with them and whatnot, if I say, "Oh, okay," that means you're never gonna see me again.
Yeah.
If I say, "Oh, okay," I'm not gonna be confrontational. I'm not gonna none of that stuff. Oh, okay.
I got one.
Too short for it.
My brother tell me, he said, "Man, you ruthless." That's Al Sal. He said, "Man, you ruthless." Because I tell Al Sal, I said, I walked away from a relationship in a wheelchair. Get it?
Yeah. You can't say stuff like that.
I did. I walked away from my relationship in a wheelchair.
I rolled away. I understand. What you was gonna say, Ms. D?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Mark says she sounds mad, but no, that's not mad. That's not anger. That's just the truth coming out. Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's Mark.
Oh no, nobody angry. Look. Let me tell you this. When I'm good with people, I always say, "Hey, that was a great dance we had. I like that dance. Like it's a dance for me. We dancing through life. Some of the dance gonna be long. Some of them might be like, like a little short song. Yeah. You know what? One of my short.
What?
I was about to talk about that Marvin Gaye song. This is a Marvin Gaye song. Come on, and if you're out dancing somewhere, it's real short. It's like less than 2 minutes, but it's the best song. It's the greatest
What's
dance.
What's the name of it?
Is it Get to This? I think it is. But it's like a short song. The song is maybe 3 minutes, right? And so by the time you get into it, it is over.
Right.
Look, I'm not about short relationships, but I am about like longevity life. And I have been doing my own little research a little bit. And I've been seeing some older people out there. They're like 75 years old and they doing yoga. They running around, they walking, they talking. They have all of their cognitive movement and everything. They moving like I'm moving at 50 at 70. And I asked, what's has you this way? One lady said I drink wine every day because I said you must not drink. One lady said I drink wine every day. Another person said I don't do no stress. Stress brings up chemicals in your body that you cannot reverse it.
Sure. That's true.
Once it's happening, it's happening. So I learned that and say, you know what, the best way I'm just going to apply that principle in my life. No, less stress is possible.
Exactly. D.
Listen, I was going to say that sometimes we are dancing when the band has gone to break, and we should gone with them,
That's true.
right? So,
But to piggyback on that stress, man. And a lot of people, I still have to tell people, I'm still in recovery. And they're like, man, you look so good. Yeah, because I'm not stressing. I'm not
Right.
doing no stress. I'm
Right.
constantly
cortisol
working
is a
out.
killer.
Huh?
Cortisol, the stress hormone that'll kill you. It makes you lose sleep, you gain
Absolutely.
weight, raises your anxiety, raises your stress, and then
And
your
here's the thing. Here's the most
dopamine can't
important thing.
lower it.
Here's the most important thing about this with we talking about stress, right? I used to run 4 and 5 miles a day. I started when my mother had breast cancer. So I started running for that. She beat the breast cancer and all that good stuff. I did two 24-foot organic gardens, running 5 miles a day, 4 and 5 miles a day, right? And my doctor said I probably would save my life. But the stress came in when I lost Greg and Nan 2 months and 10 days apart. I had a bleed on the brain because I was healthy. I was really healthy. And my my neurologist was telling me, he said, man, you probably would save your life. You used to do a lot of cardio. I used to run 4 and 5 miles a day, but the stress level tipped me over. And after they passed away, I used to drink 4 bottles of wine daily. So
I remember
that's
that.
right. A lot of people don't know that the more wine that you drink, if you're drinking a high volume of wine, it raises your cholesterol. And that's what
Mhm.
tipped me over. Boom, bleed on the brain. You know what I'm saying? Stress. It's stress. So stress does kill.
It
Luckily for
does.
Oh
me,
yeah.
it didn't happen, but yeah, man. Yeah, definitely.
I worried
But
about you for a minute though. I was like, this is not good. I did worry for you. And I, did, pray for you a lot. Because I'm
absolutely
like,
much appreciated.
yeah,
Much appreciated. Much
yes,
appreciated. Yeah, but so this do you really know your significant other? That's a question that you guys should be asking. So if you're in bed right now watching this podcast or listening to this podcast, just roll over to your left or your right and just ask them, do you really know me? Do you really know me? And that's a very important question, man. Not just in romantic relationships, but in friendships and all that stuff. Do you really
that's
know
right.
me?
That's right.
Do you really know me?
Yeah,
Because I love to know people. I don't want to guess. It's too late in the game to be doing any guessing. Like, what I'm saying? If you holding back on a person like me, if you holding back, I'm so transparent and open about everything. And if you holding back, keep it moving.
Mhm.
Keep it moving. I don't have time for that.
hey, it's funny you said that. I was doing some therapy myself on someone I work out with. I just was picking their brain, and we was
Mm,
talking about relationships. We was riding elliptical. We were on the elliptical, and we was just going back and forward talking. And
right.
he was kind of talking about almost this comment brought up by Mark. Um, he said Stringer Bell, also known as Idris Elba, said men fall in love with what they see and women fall in love with what they hear. He also said women will always wear makeup and men will always lie. Now, I want to say this. Now, I'm going to unpack that for a second.
Go
You
ahead. Go
know,
ahead.
the guy in the gym kind of said something similar to that, like saying, women put on a lot of we put on acts and guys can't figure us out. So they do the L Cool J thing and holding they laugh as they say that they love us. And I'm like, we're saying we love you too. And sometimes we holding an eye laugh too.
Mm,
So and I said, and this is games, and I told him, I said, and people play games, and here's the thing: you always know, even when that person lying to you, they're not telling the truth. It's like your kid, like
right.
I hear Miss D talk about Xavier. When your kid not being, when people aren't being honest. So
Here's the way you alleviate the games, right? Ask transparent questions. Very
Yeah.
yes,
transparent. Here's the thing. Turn the mirror on yourself while you asking those
that's
questions.
true.
If
That
they
is
get up
so
on the
true.
table, if they get up from the table while you actually being transparent with yourself to them,
Yeah.
move away from
Yeah.
them. Quit. Let's get to Slash. Slash gets the last comments. Yeah, let's get to Slash real quick.
Question. Where is Princess Charlie, aka Shan? Did she stay in Jamaica and get her groove back?
Second, let's get to the other one. One sec.
Oh, she said, come get to this from Marvin Pence. Gay. Let's get it on.
Oh, he's telling Ursa the song that she was talking about.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Slash has a plethora of music.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that he pulled that out of his.
Yeah, he's a disc jockey.
Yeah, real talk.
I don't know if he does. He's by nature he's a disc jockey. He's been disc jockeying since he was a baby.
So here's some questions. You can ask them, what is love to you? And have you ever been in love?
I like that question. I'm gonna ask that question this week.
Because if they're able to define that,
right,
then you should be able to find what their actions are. If their actions don't match their words, then you would know.
Right. I think the question of the night is, and this is for us over 50 or at 50 or whatever. Can you handle change? Can you adapt and adjust to a turbulent climate? Can you co-pilot? If my plane crashes or going down before it crashes, can you co-pilot that plane and get us back to a very comfortable altitude? Can you co-pilot? That's questions adults should be asking adults. Because I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. We're not adult well at all. We're not doing adulting well at all.
No.
Especially in the social media age. We definitely not adulting the right way. We're not. We're definitely not. So, to the people, it's okay, Cole. It's okay. So to the people who always give me flack on these relationship, topics and all that stuff, it's very important because apparently you guys are not adulting the proper way. And that's no shade to anyone, but that's just honest talk, honest, transparent talk. You guys do not adult well. So these conversations have to take place.
And my other thing is, if you're going to ask these questions, you better have your own answers for them.
Boom.
Right? So don't ask people questions that you can't answer yourself.
Exactly.
But I didn't realize it is 9:03.
It's another one down in the books there. So this is a good one, Coach D, real good one. Even though you left me unsupervised, it looked like it went away.
I had things going on. Sometimes you're all right. I saw the questions you had there. I'm like, okay, he's okay when you sent the link, so I wasn't worried about it. Now, had you sent the link and it was all kinds of messed up stuff, I would have called you. But
it's all good. Earl says, always, I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you. Tell Xavier's website again so he can get some stuff going.
Oh, it's thestrawkid.com.
He's selling some stuff for them, man. Xavier loves to have his own money. He loves to have his own money. So
he's selling straw toppers. So there's only 3 designs up right now, but there's a whole bunch coming up. So I gotta get some more pictures up there. I got stuck in perfectionism and didn't get it up there because I wanted to look exactly perfect. And then I was like, okay, this is never going to look exactly perfect. So I threw it up there and it is what it is. So.
Exactly. And for all your paraphernalia and all the quotes and the T-shirts and the hoodies and all that stuff for the Some Call Me project, as far as the different ability, as well as the daily quotes, go to TaylorKennedy.com. TaylorKennedy.com. There's a plethora of stuff there, from the books to the sweatshirts to T-shirts. All quotes are originally written by me. I call it the Some Call Me Trent quotes. Every single quote is written by me, Arthur Trent Williams. So TaylorKennedyMedia.com. Taylor, KENNEDIE.com is the spot for all your needs. So good stuff. Ernst, what you got going on?
So I recently this week I posted another little short reel. I try to keep them to 3 minutes, but I start talking and they go over to like 5 minutes. And it was about communication this week. It was how we used to communicate with Blackberries before all of the internet became, the social media became like a thing, and how most of the time people will pick up the phone and text somebody and say how you doing before they actually physically dial somebody, like back in the day when we had to dial people. So I just posted about that because I was going back and forth with a friend of mine and he was texting. I said, hey, you should give me a call. And he said, well, I'm busy right now, I can't. And I was like, it's fine when you can, please, but let's not go back and forth. He was having a whole conversation with me, and the conversation was he needed to pick up the phone. And so I just, just based on what we've experienced recently, and just people, we need to learn how to pick up the phone and connect with people like we used to, and stop depending on social media to do the work for us, So
I had an
Speaker dial
idea.
is a thing. You can still use a speaker.
I got an idea.
yes.
Let's do that topic next week.
What topic is that? Texting?
The topic of effective communicating in this technology age.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone and talk to me.
Yeah.
Effective communicating in this technology age. It'd be a good one, really.
Yeah, because remember there was a night like you posted something. It wasn't long. It was real short, but I read your post and I think it was something simple as, man, this really hurts, something like that. And I called you immediately, like 911.
I remember that. I
was like, hey, look, everything gonna be okay, and I need you to be okay. And nothing is wrong with picking up the phone and telling somebody, I love you. I need to hear your voice. I just, I want you to know I'm still here. If something I could do, or if something going on, let me know. Communication.
That meant the world to me because that was right after Greg passed.
It was. It honestly, it really was. It was.
Yeah.
It was.
And when she called me, and I was ignoring a whole bunch of calls that day.
Yeah.
I really didn't want it. So, but when I hadn't spoken with her in quite some time, and I just picked up, and she was like, hey, I just want to talk to you. I just want to hear your voice.
I was like, Trent, I love you. I need you to be okay. I really need you to be okay. I love you. And that, we don't do that no more. We don't. It's hard for people, social media, not to get off into, we'll talk more about it next week if y'all were late, but social media have us even afraid to use the word love. You never see people using that word. Listen. Look, listen.
All right, so next week, new phone who just called me.
Wait, what'd you say?
No.
Next week, new phone who just called me.
Wait, what? That's the name of it?
Yes. New phone who just called me.
I'm texting you it.
Text it to me so I can get it right.
Yeah.
Good stuff. It's gonna be a good one, man. Actually, I saw that TikTok, man. It was a real good one.
Yeah. I just want to try to get it better, like I said, but yes, there's more that follows that.
I watched the whole conversation on it, so it's okay. So next week's topic is gonna be new phone. Who this? Call me. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm always telling my girlfriend I hate texting because things get misconstrued, misunderstood, everything through texting. Pick up the phone, talk to me. I need to hear what you're saying. I need to catch that vibe. You know what I'm saying? I need to catch the vibe.
That is what did you get that from my TikTok? Because that's what I was trying to say. Like, if you hear the voice, you kind of, it's like going back to that, get to this, the dance. You kind of like get into that person's swag and understand what's happening.
Because sometimes I could be a bit much in text, especially if I'm irritated, and it'll come across the wrong way.
Yeah.
It'll come across. I'm always telling. I say, listen, if we're gonna have a conversation, it's cool to text for us to text back and forth, something short. But if we're in a lengthy conversation, I'm not gonna entertain it. We're gonna have a conversation.
Everybody don't post on social media all of their business. So you might text me and my dog could have just died. And you
exactly
getting all this wrong information, or you hearing it Oh, I don't think Ursa even like me no more. No, look, I'm trying to bury my dog.
I don't know about that. Exactly.
I'm trying to bury-
And
you know,
also, we're gonna get out of this 10 minutes after. Also, I get a whole bunch of flack on these controversial quotes I've been writing for years. Ever since I became an author, I've been writing. I got like maybe over 20,000 quotes. Over.
yeah,
Now I'm just saying, just like it's probably more than that. But
that's
those who've
awesome.
actually been following me for about 20 years, they know that that's just my style of writing. Like Dee, she knows my style of writing. It's very
Right.
controversial and it's
It
very
could
in
be
your face. It's very in your face and transparent. So a lot of people will
right.
call me. A lot of people call me like, "Hey man, who messed with you?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" I didn't wrote that quote and went on about my day.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not about me. That's just a random
Right.
thought.
Right.
People who follow me know that I still get these quotes in my sleep. I still get them in my sleep. So
That's
that's why I
awesome.
leave devices at the side of my bedstand. So as I get the quote coming in during my sleep, it wakes me up. Quotes are waking me up, has been waking me up for the last 15 years.
Mm.
This stuff is given to me and I just share it.
Wow.
But a
I
lot of
just,
people say,
I just,
always that, who you talking about? I'm not talking about nobody. This is a random
Right.
thought.
I'm I'm not
big
in
dogs
a
holler.
relationship dilemma.
What it
Exactly.
is,
Right.
big
I'm
dogs
just
will always holler every
She said,
time. Every time.
saying.
absolutely.
We should say his dogs always holler, huh?
His dog's always holler. So that's gonna be a good
Always.
one, man. That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
Phone not working, just call. Just call me. That's all. That's gonna be a good one.
I'm horrible about texting. Horrible.
Exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
getting that
That's
way.
why I pick
And
up the phone.
also, let me tell you something. I'm gonna say this and then we're gonna unpack. I mean, we'll unpack next week. I don't like texting like that no more. Pick up the phone and call me. And if I don't answer, I'm gonna call you back because I'd rather talk to you. I do not want to text all this stuff I gotta tell you. I don't. I'm not
Exactly.
gonna do it. I'm not.
Exactly. So
I'm
until
that
next
way.
week, we appreciate you guys, man. You can actually catch this one probably this week sometime on Apple, on Spotify, YouTube channel, all that stuff on Taylor Kennedy TV, all that good stuff. So it'll be available for you guys, whether you're streaming or just listening. Wherever you get your podcast, you can listen to it as well. So especially on Apple. So subscribe to the Apple channel, Taylor Kennedy on Apple. So it's all over there. So good stuff. And actually, again, I announced it when I was on with Catherine over from France, the nutritious coach. Actually, we were in 26 or 27 countries, European countries. So the conversation is back over there. It's over in France, it's over in the Netherlands, all that stuff. 27 European countries were being streamed right now.
Wow. That's
Right now.
awesome.
So we
That's
truly
awesome.
appreciate you guys. We truly appreciate you guys. And of course, we're in the States or everywhere. But what was most important for me was getting back over the pond. And we're finally back over the pond. And I got a message from Apple. I had to sign up for the union because before they push the content, distribute that content into Europe, you have to become a part of their union as far as for content and sharing the content in their country, in all the different countries. So truly appreciate you guys from France, Germany, all that stuff. Appreciate you. And it's all in different languages too. So we really appreciate it. Only on Apple though, only on Apple. So good stuff though. We really appreciate the support. And hopefully Earth continues to bring that bubbly personality back. And I could actually get her to her own platform with that bubbly personality and talk about community stuff and all that stuff. So she's a little
Yeah.
nervous, but I think she's gonna do well with that. I
Thank
think she's gonna
you.
do well. But the goal is to have everybody monetizing. That's my goal, to have everybody that sits on this platform to monetize on their own personal platforms. That's including Coach D, Ursula, Catherine over in France. I want everybody to monetize and just share all across the board. So good stuff, man. Real good stuff. But we're grateful and thankful to you guys. So you want to
Well,
close
on
out,
that
Coach D?
note, I will say abiento, avidasane, and calispera to our
Adios.
friends around the world.
Buenas noches.
You guys be epic.
Bye.
Okay. See.
Conversations with Trent in conjunction with Taylor Kennedy Media and your radio network would like to thank you for calling in and listening to tonight's episode. We hope that tonight's conversation offended you just enough to turn your mirror inward to come back for more. So until next week's conversation, be epic.